So I want to talk to you about pregnenolone. I'm just giving a talk this weekend for the American Academy for Anti-Aging Medicine, and it's a review of sex hormones. And so it just got me kind of excited about the mother of all the sex hormones, which is pregnenolone. And you won't hear from most conventional physicians about pregnenolone because it's one of those hormones that I learned about from Europe. I think they test for it and they help to support it and balance it a lot better in Europe than we do here in the United States. So I just wanted to share with you a few comments about pregnenolone. I wonder if you know your level. You can let me know. Let me know if you've had your level measured in your blood. I like to see the level ideally at 100 or higher. And in terms of what pregnenolone does, it's got a number of functions. It's involved in memory, energy, sleep, stress resilience, mood stability. It also reduces pain and inflammation. So it's a really important sex hormone. And it's derived from cholesterol. So one of the things that I see with some of my patients is that they're not eating enough fat, and so they're not making enough cholesterol. You need to have kind of a, a base level of a total cholesterol of about 140. That's important for brain health as well as for making all the hormones in your body. You got to remember that fat is the backbone of most of the hormones that you make in the body, especially the sex hormones, and you need enough fat to be making these. Now, one of the things that happened for me, I wonder if you did this, if you're old enough. When I was in, I'm thinking of when Dean Ornish's books came out. So I started following Dean Ornish and I went low fat. And when I went low fat, my total cholesterol dropped really low. It dropped below 120. And what I found was that I actually had depression because my levels dropped so low. And I wonder if you've had an experience with that, if you've noticed that in the past when you've changed your diet, maybe you went low fat, that maybe you also had a problem with your mood. So pregnenolone, what are some of the signs that you're deficient, that your level is too low? Well, it's basically those functions that I talked about, right? So it can lead to depression, depressive symptoms, maybe not major depression, but it contributes to depressive symptoms, which we know have tripled during COVID-19. It can make you feel more fatigued. It can lead to poor stress coping. It can also lead to decreased ability to focus and also to remember that word on the tip of your tongue, memory. So, pregnenolone, what I usually do with my patients is I start them on a small dose of pregnenolone, like 10 milligrams, slow release. And if you want to learn more about becoming a patient of mine, you can go to saragottfriedmd.com/patient. In fact, on my Instagram live that I just did with Dr. Dan Monty, he had a huge announcement about my future practice in that live. So you can go back and watch the live that I did just a couple of hours ago to get a sense of where I'm going to be seeing patients going forward. And if you're on my list at saragottfriedmd.com/patient, I'm going to send you notifications on how you can apply and some of the details about it. Now, I want to make a couple of other announcements. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be answering questions for a little while. So Katie says, had not attributed these symptoms to low pregnenolone, currently have all of them. So yeah, this is a really common problem. And, you know, if you go to a mainstream physician, they may not check your pregnenolone. They would hopefully check your thyroid and they would check your iron stores and things like that, you know, kind of a basic fatigue workup. But it's very unlikely that they're going to check your pregnenolone. So it's important to look at your lipids and look at how you're managing your lipids and also to look at pregnenolone levels. So let me make a couple of other announcements. I have a friend, a colleague, who's really amazing, named Dr. Erin Amato. And she's going to do a Facebook Live at 4:30 p.m. Mountain, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. And I just want to share with you that you should join it. You should go support her. So let me make sure I've got the name right. So here's where you can find her Facebook Live. It's over at the Center for Ideal Health. So if you just search in Facebook for the Center for Ideal Health, you'll be able to watch Erin's, Dr. Amato's Facebook Live. And she's going to be talking about some cool things related to COVID-19. She's also going to be talking about the fasting mimicking diet and her experience with it. And it does have some immune effects. So I would highly recommend that. So, Katie, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm on your list to become a patient. Fingers crossed. Yes. So you should be hearing sometime the next 2 weeks. And as I mentioned, there's a big announcement in the Facebook Live that I did earlier today with Dr. Dan Monti. So in addition to talking about Pregnenolone, if you're a health professional and you want to learn more about this, I'm going to be talking on Saturday at 4:30 in the morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to be talking for 2 hours about sex hormones, kind of a review of sex hormones. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be talking about sex hormones in men, sex hormones in women. What are some of the unifying principles? How do we balance our hormones? So one last announcement that I want to make. I have a webinar coming up next Tuesday with Dr. Dan Monti and Dr. Anthony Bazan. And you can sign up for that webinar at tapestryofhealth.net. And you can submit questions in advance. We're going to be going for about 35 minutes with some questions that have come in to this up until this point. And then we're going to take questions from our audience. So you can sign up for that at tapestryofhealth.net. So I think that's all of my announcements. I wanted to make sure that I get off with plenty of time for you to go to the Center for Ideal Health and go support my friend and colleague, Dr. Erin Amato. So thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know what questions you have, especially topics for future Facebook Live. I'm going to try to do this at least once a week. So I'd love to know what questions you have. I always get questions about bioidentical hormones, and so I thought it would be helpful to start off with Pregnenolone, since it's the mother hormone of all the other sex hormones that you make. Okay, everybody, I'll see you next time.